What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Hi, hi, hi. How are you? This is Mr. Vibrant, and I am your host of The Vibrant Truth. So I'm still setting up here. Give me a couple of seconds, and we will get kicking. Alrighty. Forgive me. A lot of screens, a lot of things to set up. Mm. All right. So, what we are doing here today, ladies and gentlemen, and him, they, non binary, all these other entities. Don't want to disrespect anybody. So, here we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. So, there is, wow, that's distracting. We're going to put it on the solid color here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Got the nice little mood lighting going on there. All right, bet. So, the evolution, however you pronounce it, of men over the years, when it comes to relationships and women. Yo, Redbeard, what's going on? You like my lights? You like my lights? Do you want me to keep it do you want me to keep it a solid color? Or do you want the effects? It's up to you. Whatever chat wants, chat gets. Okay, now, so what I was saying, right? The evolution of men over the years. Solid purple, you got it. Yeah. All right. So, over the years, men have been thrown in many different roles since the beginning of time, right? We had the cavemen who was made to go hunt and provide, right? And then as time went on, evolution wise, people started getting smarter. The humans started to become more humanized. And, the men were still considered the providers, but, they was going out to work, making money, putting food on the table while the woman stayed home, cooked, cleaned, did laundry, and everything else, right? So that was more of the simpler times when it became to communication and interaction between men and women. Then as time went on, women started getting to do the things that men did, so women was going to work providing and putting food on the table and all that stuff, and that's all great. I'm all for that, right? But then the communication started changing as well, right? So not saying that women should be at home cooking and cleaning and everything, but at the same time, the values that was instilled in men and women back then, I feel should have carried over into the evolution, because now it seems like the more and more time goes on, some women, not all, but some women become harder and harder to approach about anything. It doesn't matter if it's about life, expenses, your relationship, your thoughts, your opinions. It's starting to become harder and harder to approach females about things, especially females that you're in some type of relationship with. And there is still some females that you can communicate with, that's your best friend, that you can have disagreements, you can have different points of views, and it can be talked out. And it's fine. That's great. I'm happy for those relationships. I'm happy for those men that found those females. I'm happy for those females that still have those values. But at the same time, more females are starting to have the independent way of thinking, and the second you say something to them, it's you're being oppressive, or you're being sexist, or you're being misogynistic, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. But in an instance, right, women tend to be the most loyal and the most faithful to the misogynistic and the bad boys and everything else, right? So, uh, so here's my thing, right? If women talk about equality and they want a guy that's going to view them as their equal and view them as their counterpart, why is it so hard for men to approach women nowadays? In an instance, not in an instance to get with them, not in an instance to try and flirt with them or anything, just in normal debate and back and forth. And, it's like I've noticed some women use words towards men more often than they used to. And these are just a few words. These are not all the words, but words like manipulative comes out a lot. Um, Psycho. Those are just a few words that I thought of the top of my head. Mind games. It's like when a guy expresses himself, it's manipulative, or it's a mind game, or it's a game, or it's you know whatever the mind plays it up to be, right? But at the same time, when it's reversed, it's the men is overreacting, and they need to just understand that females are more emotional than men, which I can honestly say from a scientific standpoint, because I've done the research. I have done the research on this because it's been something that I've been curious about for a lot. Do you know that exactly 67.5%, that's more than half, 67.5% of men is actually more emotional than women? And you want to know why? Because those 67.5% men were taught to suffer in silence. And I know I talked about this in another video, so I'm not going to dig into that. But that's the reason that was given behind that 67.5%, because men was taught to suffer in silence. Now, just like females have insecurities, men have insecurities too. But over the years, it's been a lot harder to hide the insecurities from men. Why? Because women know how to get the insecurities to show from men. If you have a husband or a boyfriend and you've been with them for a while and you care about them, then you're going to know what to say, what to do, how to act to bring out their insecurity, right? So then when it's done in reverse to females, again, it's manipulative, it's mind games, it's this and that. But quite frankly put, when a female does it to a guy, more simply put, is gaslighting. This is going to piss some people off, and I apologize. But if when men do it as manipulating and mind games and everything else, then when females do it, it's gaslighting. And why is it gaslighting? Is because even though more men are more emotional than females, I believe females have a higher intellect than males do. So they know when to push the button, how to push the button, and how far to push the button. As men, we just end up stumbling. Once we start pushing buttons, we try to backtrack and end up tripping and press all the fucking buttons at once. And then we frantically try to figure out how to hit the reset button. Right? So then, regardless what people may feel or say or think, I think that guys are more mental than females. And what I mean by that is a guy can say some crazy fucked up shit to a female and she'll be hurt by it. It'll fuck with her for a few days, but then when she's over it, she's over it. It's like whatever, fuck him. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't know what he's missing. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna just go get this guy and that guy and this guy. But when a female says fucked up shit to a guy, yeah, we get over it. And I may not be speaking for the majority of the guys, but some of the guys, yeah, we get over it. We get over it. But that shit plays in our head over and over and over again at random times, especially when we get into another altercation. That shit is just gonna start playing in our head, and then you add on to what you said previously. So then that adds on to what's already playing in the head. So then it's just a cycle. And then females say, "Well, my man don't talk to me. My man don't say anything. Why? Because all the fucked up shit you said, it's playing. It's playing in our heads." And now we go into shutdown mode because we're like, okay, well, if I say anything, more shit's gonna come out. If I say anything, she's gonna say more fucked up shit. Like I said, it all depends on shit people go through and deal with. But I see more of my male friends dealing with some crucial shit they haven't gotten help for because they are scared to. I had an incident happen earlier today. My pent up anger and aggression got the best of me, and I feel terrible about it. That's exactly my point. That's the. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly my point. People think men can take shit, can have shit thrown at them, and it doesn't bother them just because we don't show a reaction, just because it doesn't resonate with us right then and there. Doesn't mean it doesn't anger us. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt us. Doesn't mean it doesn't bother us. Everyone's different. The littlest shit can bother a man, or the worst shit can bother a man. There's some men that can handle the worst shit thrown at them, but can't handle the little shit thrown at them. And there's some men that can handle the little shit, but can't handle the worst shit that's thrown at them. As for me, I like to call myself a chameleon because I can handle it all. Yeah, I'm fucked up in the head. Don't get me wrong. I'm fucked up in the head. But I've cultivated ways and tactics and paths for me to handle all the shit that's thrown my way. It's taken me years. It's taken me years, a lot of years to master this shit. But I found a way. So it goes all about how you can process what you're going through or what people do to you or how people treat you. Now, as far as the intimacy thing goes, okay, there's different levels of that, right? There's in my mind, there's emotional, there's mental, there's physical. You know, like you can have the physical intimacy, but lack the emotional and the mental. Or you can have the mental and the emotional and not have the physical. Or you can just have the physical and not have the mental and emotional at all. There's different variations, but for people to have all three levels on lock, that's an accomplishment. Regardless what anyone says, if you can have the intimacy unlocked emotionally, mentally, and physically, then you're doing something awfully right. And you've unlocked the master key. You have the master morpher, whatever you want to call it. You are the guru of intimacy. Me personally, I've never figured it out. I've always either had the emotional or I've had the mental and the physical, or I've had the emotional and the mental. My anger gets bad when people say shit I don't like. Someone said something earlier that I didn't like, and I got so fucking mad. I was screaming, bro. I don't even remember what I said to this person. Well, I mean, like I said, that goes with people knowing you, though, right? Like, I get what you're saying. You felt bad because your anger got the best of you. But let me ask you a question. Did this person know you? Like, not like know of you, but did they know you? Did they know your triggers? Or did they know that saying something, I know you say you can't remember, but do they know you well enough to know that something they said would have set you off, is what I'm trying to ask. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a gray area, because if you know them but they don't know you, then it's like I get what you're saying, the anger part, but it's like I thought maybe like it was someone that knew you, and like they just did it anyway. Then I was gonna say, oh, they're an asshole, so they deserved it. I've been listening to what they've been doing to a good friend of mine for years, and today I had my chance to speak out. Well, I mean, you was defending a friend, so it's not like I get you feel bad for blowing up on the person, but like if you was defending a friend and it wasn't really like just random because they said some stupid shit, then there's really not a big reason to feel too bad because you was doing what you thought was right in your heart, and you was defending a friend, or you was speaking up on your dislike on how your friend was being treated. So I don't think that's really uh oh, I shouldn't have done that type situation. I mean, if you want to go as far as to say maybe I should have worded it different or used a different tone, then maybe. But as far as saying I shouldn't have done that aspect, you was being a friend. You was speaking up for a friend that didn't want to speak up for themselves, or couldn't speak up for themselves, or just didn't feel like they needed to speak up for themselves. So, I mean, in that instance, I feel it's actually I feel like you actually kind of did the right thing. Why is my camera tilted? There we go. So yeah, I kind of feel like you did the right thing. But I mean, people's gonna do things to set you off all the time, right? Like, not all the time, but all the time people do things or whatever. It all stemmed from this person not being able to take a joke. They called me a piece of shit, thinking they were speaking to someone else. So I fucking snapped. I wish I could take it back and use a better tone, but I can't now. Well, I mean, they did call you a piece of shit. So I mean, that is something worth snapping over, especially if they don't know you as well as you know them. If they just know of you, or they just know of things you've done or things you've said, then yeah, that's worth getting angry and snapping over if they called you a piece of shit. I mean, I probably would have done the same thing, honestly. Like, just to be honest with you, I probably would have done the same thing. But my thing about everything is simply this: now we're in a era where people think they can fix people. Now I'm worried because this person may retaliate on their partner. I mean, that goes into what I was about to say. Like, people seem to think that they can fix people and fix how they think or how they are. And like, if your partner has someone that sticks up for them or whatever, you shouldn't be mad at your partner. You shouldn't retaliate against your partner. Why? Because your partner then hold a gun to that person's head and say, "Hey, defend me." They did that all on their own. There's a lot of people that lose sight of what a relationship really is supposed to be and what a marriage is supposed to be and what anything is supposed to be when it involves two people. Now, I highly feel a relationship and a marriage is about 50-50. It's about matching energy. It's about forgiveness. It's about understanding. It's about being your partner's best friend. Sundown City Roleplay. Check it out. It's a great city. Great city. But yeah. Um you can't fix people. You can't take a broken woman and say I can fix her. You can't take a broken man and say I can fix him. You can't fix people. You can only show people that you're not like the rest of the people that they've been with. That's all you can do. You can't fix how a person thinks. You can't fix how a person feels. You can't fix a person's fears. And I'm going to tell you what happens when you try to be that person that fixes somebody. And you trying to fix that person, you actually become the enemy unintentionally. And I'm going to tell you why you become the enemy unintentionally. Because you're trying to fix that person. You're working so hard and you're doing so much to prove to that person that you're different. You're always checking in. You're always around. You're always texting. You're always FaceTiming. You're always letting them know where you are. You're always letting them know who you're with. Just so you can gain their trust and they can see that everyone's not the same. But let me tell you what that person's thinking that has the trust issues. Why are they telling me everything they're doing? Why are they telling me where they're at? Why are they telling me who they with? Why are they FaceTiming me all the time? Why are they texting me all the time? In your mind, you're doing a good thing, but in their mind, they're like, okay, well, they're trying to cover up something because they're contacting me too much. And that very one thing you never want to ask a broken person that's going into a new relationship when they're not with you and you just want to know what's going on with them. A question from personal experience you never want to ask a person like that is, where you at? Because in that person's mind, you're not asking where they're at, as in where you at, what you're doing. In their mind, you're asking them where they're at, how far away from you are they. So now their mind is going. Their mind is like, okay, why the fuck they want to know where I'm at? What are they up to? What are they trying to cover up? And then turns the turmoil in the relationship, right? Because then that person's going to lie and say, oh, I'm this place, when in actuality, they're in this place. So they're going to tell you they're like 40 minutes further than what they actually are. The love died in their relationship a long time ago because the person I fought with cheated on their partner. I was bringing this up in an argument and I said, oh, yeah, and good job cheating on your husband since you want to talk about pieces of shit. They proceeded to call their partner a piece of shit and said that they cheated to even though they don't have proof of that and won't stop mentally beating their partner down every day. It makes me so upset, man. It makes me cry. Well, here's the thing, right? So that brings me to another part of evolution, toxicity, right? Because back in the day, there was no toxicity or toxic relationships hardly ever, right? There was always communication. There was always, I'm mad at you, but we'll figure it out. There was always, you did wrong, but we'll figure it out. And then as evolution went on, as time went on, it was, I'm mad at you, I'm done with you, I'm over you. It's the toxic traits started taking effect, right? It's, I love you, but behind your back, I'm doing this. It's, I hate you behind your back, but to your face, I'm doing this. And then to your face is, I love you, but behind your back, I hate you, right? So there comes a time where now everything's a gamble when it comes to relationships, right? Everything's a gamble when it comes to marriages, right? Not all of them. There's some that's successful. There's some that still have the old school foundations behind them, communication, openness, honesty, working together. There's still some relationships and marriage that has that foundation. But for the most part, most relationships and marriages are built off of toxicity, right? Because you have toxic traits and then your partner has toxic traits, and you both try to hide your toxic traits in the honeymoon phase, right? In the honeymoon phase, you feel like everything's perfect, you feel like everything's right. This is the person for me, this is the person for me, we're so good together, we're this, we're that. Honeymoon stage can last 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year, whatever. My rule of thumb and my rule of advice to everybody that gets in a new relationship or a new marriage is, don't assume a person is the person that they're showing you until after the first year. And I say after the first year because usually most people are comfortable enough after the first year to show who they really are. Most people are really comfortable after the first year of a relationship or first year of a marriage to feel comfortable expressing their dislikes in situations, to feel comfortable expressing their opinions, to feel comfortable showing that they don't like something, because the fear of it not working out is starting to dwindle. The fear of it not making your partner happy is starting to dwindle. Now you're entering into the stage of, okay, who's going to be the dominant, me or my partner? Who's going to be the one that's going to say what needs to be said, me or my partner? Who's going to be the toxic one and the sensible one, me or my partner? When all actuality, both parties have toxic traits. It's just a matter of which partner is going to be willing to show their toxic traits first or at all. Now, like I said, I'll be the first one to admit I have toxic traits. I know I have toxic traits, but my toxic traits are never traits that come out because I'm toxic. My toxic traits come out when I have to protect myself against certain situations, right? So I've been called an asshole. I've been called cold hearted. I've been called a narcissist at times. Do I believe I'm a narcissist? No, I don't. Have I been with a narcissist? Yes. Very, very recently. Yes, I have been with a narcissist. So I know what a narcissist is. But at the same time, this goes back to how you deal with things. Most people can't handle a narcissistic person, right? Hey, what's going on, Kit Kat? So here's my thing, right? When you're dealing with a narcissist, right, they're gonna take blame off of themselves and place it on you. Almost 100% of the time. The unspoken problem people can face in the honeymoon phase is in the first 3 months. That shit can legit kill a marriage depending on how bad it gets after 90 days. That's true. That's true. That's true, but highly unlikely. After that first year, that's when shit really starts to hit the fan. The first 3 months is more so like, you know, no arguments, no disagreements, no anything, no this, that, and the third. But after that first year, once you make it past that first year, that's when people start showing their true colors. That's when people start not really caring. That's when people start saying, "Hey, they've been here for a year, so I can push the envelope." But I mean, yeah, I get your point. So, I mean, a narcissistic person will not take responsibility for anything that they do, that they make you feel, that they're responsible. A number one thing that a narcissist would say is, I didn't mean it the way you took it, and you feel the way you feel. That's on you. That's not on me. How is how I feel not on you? I feel the way I feel because you said what you said, but I took it in a different way than you said it, but you said it how you meant it. And you're not responsible for my feelings. Like, they won't take responsibility. They won't make you feel like you're validated. They will make you chase them until they're tired of you chasing them. And then they will be brutally honest and tell you they don't want you anymore. They never wanted you. All they was doing was just seeing how long you would chase them. That is a narcissistic person. Have I done that to people? Never. Do I know people that do that to people? Yes. Do I agree with it? No. And it seems a lot of successful relationships are relationships where there's one person who wants the other person to change completely who they are so the relationship works, right? This year's going to be my 5th year of marriage, man. And let me tell you, that second and third year was rough, but we made it through. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the second and third year, the first, second, and third year, you're gonna have obstacles. The first, second, and third year is gonna tell you who the person is, right? That's what those years are gonna tell you about your partner is who they are. After the third year, and you reach the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, whatever, those years are the years for you to mold the marriage into what you feel can be a successful marriage and what your partner should feel is a successful marriage. Now, a lot of times this works. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, there's different variables into molding a relationship in a marriage. Like there's compatibility, there's mental health, there's emotional connection, there's physical attraction, there's communication, there's a lot of many different variables, right? So I feel like if you can't get the communication and the emotional wavelength down within the second year, then you might have to start to worry a little bit. The things I never understood was some of these dickheads who are married for 30 plus years and then cheat on their wife or husband. Like, what the fuck is that? I mean, yeah, 30 plus years, 12 years, 14 years, 20 years, anything in the teens or double digits. It's kind of like, how do I want to explain it? It's kind of like a series, right? That you're waiting for the end. You're waiting for the big payoff and it's flat. Like, the ending makes no sense. It's a cliffhanger. You're not satisfied. You're left with more questions than answers. And now you're trying to go back to the beginning and rewatch it or replay it and figure out how did we get here after 30 years, after 20 years, after 12 years, after 14 years. How did we get here if we made it this far? Basically, what one person is saying, we made it this far just to make it this far. That's a pretty fucked up feeling sometimes. Sometimes it's a pretty fucked up feeling. I'm not even going to lie. But then there comes a time where when that happens, you have to look inside yourself and say, hey, wait a minute. I know I did this, this, and this, but I didn't deserve this. So then you start to question yourself and you have a choice to make at that point, right? Your choice is you wallow in your depression and you put a wall up, or you say, hey, I know I'm a good person and I did this, this, and this. But guess what? I'm going to keep pushing on, and someone's going to find me and see the value in me and see what a great person I am. Right? Easier said than done, right? But at the same time, the person that initiates a breakup or the person that walks away from their partner or their spouse, they're never going to feel the emotions that you feel right away because they're the ones that walked away, right? So once they start to feel the emotions that you feel from the very start, it then becomes your fault, right? Because you had your hurt, you had your pain, you had your depression, you had all that to go through alone from the beginning. And then you finally started to heal. You're finally getting better, right? You're going out, you're talking to friends, you maybe even meet somebody else, right? So, but because the person that gave up on you or walked away from you didn't feel what you was feeling in the beginning, but they're feeling it now. So now because they're feeling what you felt in the beginning, it's your fault that they're feeling it. It's your fault that they're going through this because you're in a relationship and you didn't think to tell them. You didn't think to tell them that you was looking for somebody else. You didn't think to tell them that there's possibilities that you're going to start dating or something else again. Nah, that's your fault, right? But yet you walked away from them and directly got into a relationship or directly started messing with people or directly started talking to people. But now roles are reversed and the person you walked away from took the time to heal, took the time to reevaluate, rebuild, redesign, and reclaim their life, and they're moving on. Now it's their fault that your relationship didn't work out or that you're regretting breaking up with this person, but they're with somebody else and they're happier than they've been in a long time. And they're telling you they're not going to ruin their happiness for the chance to be unhappy again in the future when you get tired of them again. That's their fault now. That now becomes their fault because they don't give you your way like they used to. How is that fair? It's it's actually to a yeah, that was weird. Sorry about that, guys. It gets to a point where tend to mm, people tend to get comfortable. I want to say I would probably maybe say, but yeah, I honestly feel like people take people for granted, especially the people that's in relationships with the person, because I personally feel like that person should be your person that you lean on, right? That person should be the person that you feel would protect you and have your back. You shouldn't have to wonder if the person you're with is going to give up on you so easily. And I understand shit happens, circumstances happen, things happen, people people grow apart sometimes, right? I get that. I understand that. That's not what I'm debating. What I'm debating is as to where before, when you went back in the years, there was conversations, right? There was, hey, we need to talk. It's not you, it's me. I don't feel the same I once felt for you before, and I know this is gonna hurt. It hurts me to have to say this, but I tried, and I just don't feel it anymore. And I don't know what went wrong, where we went wrong, blah, 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 the whole spiel, right? There was conversations. But then you fast forward into modern times that we're in now, and you lucky if you get a text, right? You're hanging out, having fun one night. The next morning you wake up, you're blocked. Text, phone calls, social media, everything. You're blocked, right? So now you're sitting there wondering, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, just had a great night last night. We was joking, we was laughing. She said she had a great time. She liked spending time with me, and then boom, ghosted. That became a term, ghosted. That is one violently rude term, ghosted. Like, I think having a messy breakup is better than being ghosted. And I'm going to tell you why. Because having an argument and breaking up, at least you know what the person was upset with you about. At least you know what you did wrong. At least you know that this is where you fucked up at. This is how many times you fucked up. This is why I think you fucked up. At least you have at least that. But when you're ghosted, most of the time when you're ghosted, it's after a good occasion. It's after a good interaction. It's after a positive reaction. So then you're ghosted and you're like, wow, what did I do? Why am I ghosted? Like, I just need that closure. Like, most of the time when people are ghosted, they need that closure, right? They're like, what did I do? What did I didn't do? Like, did I make her mad about something? Did I make him mad about something? Like, what can I do to fix it? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what did I do? Can somebody help me? And you're asking yourself 9 billion questions about what did you do. But at least in an argument, and the person says, well, I'm tired of this. I'm done with you. We're always fighting. You're always this. You're always that. Blah, blah, blah. 9, 10 times out of 10, when you're in an argument and you break up, they're going to tell you everything you did to lead to that breakup and that argument. You work too much. You're never home. You're always on your phone. You're always in a crappy mood. We don't go out. I don't see my friends. I don't do this. You don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to know exactly what you did for that relationship to end in an argument. But when you're ghosted, now you're asking yourself, what did I do? What didn't I do? What did I do too much of? Did I not communicate enough? Was I not around enough? Was I on my phone too much around them? It's going to be 10 million questions on your own, on you, right? So, I mean, basically what I'm saying is simply this. Communication is always the key, regardless if it's something you don't want to hear and you probably won't want to hear, but communication is what makes a relationship and a marriage go far. Good communication, bad communication, as long as you communicate, because then you can know that you guys are on the same page or whatever. I mean, that's my 2 cents. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking on my ass. Maybe, maybe, maybe. But I do feel that I do feel like, you know, we should reevaluate certain things. Um um with that said, I'm going to end the podcast here. Um Appreciate you, Redbeard, as always. Always appreciate you. Kit Kat, appreciate you for popping by. All the lurkers. Um, Sundown City. Check them out if you're in RP. Great RP City. Um, New sponsor. I want to thank Crazy Skull. I will be wearing something of theirs on Sunday stream, so you guys could check it out. Um, um, who else am I forgetting? Action Blacktop. They do blacktops. Um, Made to Stand Out. I've wore something of theirs on stream a couple of times. Um, um, Swift Lifestyles. I couldn't remember the name. Sorry, guys. Swift Lifestyles. Um, they are a clothing company as well. And yeah. Download PUBG. It's free. I'm going to be on it later tonight. What the hell is PUBG? Yeah, so that's it for the sponsor shout outs. Again, like I said, I appreciate the ones that comes by faithfully, the ones that lurk, the ones that support me. I support you back. I love you. I love all you guys. 98 followers. That is a milestone. I appreciate all 98 followers, even if they never watch my shows or my streams. I appreciate you guys. So, with that said, I am going to raid. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Hit me up in Discord. I don't know what the hell that is. But yeah, with that being said, I am going to raid. It's OG Battle Royal. They got 4 versus 4 arcade. Now a bunch of other shit. Okay, I'll download it. But I'm sending you guys over to Subi Tay. Stick around, check her out. Great streamer. I watch her streams whenever I can. She's very entertaining and very engaging. So see you guys later. I will be back Sunday. Laters.